Welcome to the Ath-leadership podcast. In this podcast, we will be uncovering the parallels between being an athlete and being a leader. Often seen as two very different disciplines, but in reality have more in common than most believe. Every leader is an elite athlete, and every athlete is an elite leader. So what can we learn from each other? My name is Marjolein. I'm an ambitious marketing leader, but equally an ambitious CrossFit athlete. I started CrossFit in 2017 and started to discover parallels over time between me being a CrossFitter and me being a marketing leader. These days, I'm chasing these learnings and I'm trying to implement learnings from being a leader into being a CrossFitter and the other way around. Welcome to today's episode of Ath-leadership. Lead like an athlete. Today, I'm going to give you once again some insights in a workout that I did this week. Or to be very frank, a workout I did this morning before recording this podcast. The workout was quite a long one. It was 1,000 meters rowing, 100 double unders, which is you take a jump rope, you jump once but the rope turns twice, 20 shuttle runs. Then you go into 750 meters of rowing, 75 double unders, 15 shuttle runs. One shuttle run is 7.5 meters one direction and 7.5 meters back the other direction, always touching the ground in the return. Followed by 500 meters row, 50 double unders, 10 shuttle runs. 250 meters row, 25 double unders, and 5 shuttle runs to finish the workout. So when I saw this workout, I was excited and I wasn't excited. On one hand side, I was excited because all of these movements are movements I can do. All of these movements are movements I can do without necessarily having to bring a whole lot of focus into them to perform them well. On the other hand, it is quite a long workout. 1,000 meters of rowing approximately takes me 4 minutes 15. Going at the 750 meters, 500, 250, it all starts adding up. And especially the shuttle runs, in my head was like, oh, this is really where I will spend most of the time on. But overall, I kept this excitement relatively high. And I realized it's actually quite similar to some of the moments I experience at work. Tasks that I know that I can do that don't necessarily cost me that much energy, but that just take some time to get done. Some of these things that continuously pop up back on your to-do list. So what did I do to this workout? Yes, in years past, I would have just started the workout and see where we end and probably start way too fast. And then realize in the midst of the workout, I started too fast and started going down in terms of pacing. But I've evolved. So what I actually did is, I broke the workout down into 4 different parts. First part started with 1,000 meters row, 100 double unders, and 20 shuttle runs. Second part was a 750 meters row with 75 double unders and the 15 shuttle runs. Then the 500 meter row with the 50 double unders and so on. So I always clustered the part of the rowing, the double unders, and the shuttle runs together. Just for myself to be very clear and to make it more digestible. So for me, the workout consisted of 4 rounds. And yes, the rounds are different. But at least it made it more tangible and it made it more approachable. And of course, in every round, you have 3 different elements, which made it different enough because it wasn't just doing one exercise the whole time round. Then what I did is I started planning it completely out. As said, this is something I wouldn't have done necessarily in the past, but I'm evolving. So I started thinking, how can I break up the individual parts to ensure the best possible outcome? And what I did is, okay, I have 1,000 meter row, 750 meters, 500 and 250. what is a pace that I know I can hold consistently from 1,000 meters to 250 meters with increasing levels of fatigue. So I settled on a 2 minutes, 5 seconds pace for the rowing. That was my aim, consistently. It would probably feel relatively light in the beginning, despite the longer distance. And towards the end, it would be something I knew I could definitely do for 250 meters without too many issues. Okay, tick. Rowing, I know what I'm doing. Double unders. Jump ropes haven't always been my forte. I can do double unders, and I can do them pretty well. But I'm not the person to do 100 unbroken, one after the other, because I will definitely trip somewhere. And I didn't want to trip. I wanted to be in control of my workout, because I knew this is a type of workout that I can completely plan out. So that's what I did. I decided to stick to 25 double unders at a time. 25 I break, another 25 I break, another 25 I break. To still bring that level of consistency, but without putting myself into over fatigue or increasing the risk of tripping. And then the shuttle runs. Honestly, not too much of a plan. I knew that the first round of 20 would be a lot. And especially by the fact that you have to bend down every single time to touch the ground, which you do twice per one shuttle run. I knew it would have some impact on my lower back. But I decided shuttle runs is exactly where I somehow get energy back and where I somehow deplete energy. And fine balance between both of them. Aim, continuously run, never walk. Doesn't matter how fast or how slow. Try to keep it one pace, but never walk. Push it through. And then came the point in time where I was going to start to work out. I had it planned. In my head, I was focused on one round at a time. In my mind, I also knew exactly what I had to hit. So I started. And I felt actually quite good on the rower. And I know when I have these days that I feel good, that I can push it a bit more than according to plan. So my first round, I started at a 2:04 pace per 500 meters. So 1 second faster than I had imagined myself to row. And I felt good. I did my double unders instead of 25. Yes, they also did feel good. But I was not going to push it in the first round. I could do so in consecutive rounds if I really wanted and felt like doing so. And then came the shuttle runs. The hardest part, truthfully, to count. To make sure I didn't do too many shuttle runs or too little shuttle runs. So imagine me running 7.5 meters, touching the ground, thinking 1. Me running back 7.5 meters, thinking, okay, this is 1 completed. So I was always saying the same number twice to just remember where I was. And it went well. Coming into the round of 750 meters of rowing, I still felt good on the rower. I had imagined the shuttle runs to impact me a bit so that the 2:05 pace would be good yet slightly challenging, but I felt much better than that. So I started increasing my pace to a 2:03 pace. Once again, not overdoing it, not going all out, but keeping that consistency. Bringing it to the double unders felt fine as well. And I knew honestly, this round of 750 is going to be the hardest round. You're not fresh anymore, and you're not looking towards the end. Shuttle runs, yeah, it's just running. You just have to get through it, and whether you run super fast or a bit slower, it does impact it, and on the other hand, it feels for your body it doesn't. So I just kept on focusing on the music I was listening to and just going. 500 meters of rowing. I knew the next 2 rounds, all combined, were as much as the previous round. I got this, but I kept focusing on consistency. I once again increased the pace on the rower to around 2:02 pace, 2:01, 2:02 per 500 meter, and got off the rower in around 2 minutes. Double unders. They were running well. And for a split second, I considered, should I now do all of them unbroken? but I didn't. I kept to the plan and I pushed through. Last round, honestly, this is where you really start feeling that the end is near. Your body starts feeling fatigued, but you know you can end it. And I actually have been rowing a lot faster. I ended at a 1:59 or even 1:58 pacing. Double unders went well. Shuttle runs, the last 5. Honestly, this was just a nice sprint to the finish line. So reflecting on that, how does that translate into whatever I do at work? And I realized in the workout already, but also afterwards, quite some similarities and some things that I can actually improve in at work. 1, when you get these kind of workouts or these kind of tasks, break them down in smaller pieces, tangible pieces. Pieces that don't take too much of your time, but that you know you can finish easily. I'm usually the one who looks at the end result. So very much for me, it will help me to come back down and to say, okay, this longer piece of work, what is now the first part that I can already work on that will make it more tangible? Then plan it out. For that first part of work, how much time do I need? How much time do I really need? Not me being super positive, me being very negative. These are tasks you've done over and over again. You should be able to at least have a good understanding of how much time they might take. Then it's about execution. And here is really the crux of the story. These are workouts or these are tasks that are not complex, that don't require much thinking. So how much of that deep thinking energy do you put into it? In my workout, I put the energy in to do the workout, but I wasn't putting that immense amount of focus in that I would need as if I were lifting heavy or doing super complex gymnastics, where I know I need to be 100% focused. Yes, I'm focused in this workout or in the task, but it's a different level. It allows me to push through for longer. So, and the same goes at work. And here for me, it's also still very much a work in progress. It's how do I put in the required amount of energy, but I don't overdo it with pieces of energy and focus that are not needed for this non-complex task. And then it's about revise. During the workout, during the task, are there things within the plan that I can speed up where I need a different plan, where you're really just learning while doing, and learning afterwards? What have I now learned from this? What about my time plan? Could I stick to it? Does it make sense? Did I break it up in a way that makes sense for me, that makes sense for someone else? And could I, at the end of the day, deliver? So summarizing, today I had a long, not so complex, not much thinking workout. And I do have tasks as well at work that are quite similar to this. Break them down, point 1. Break them down in tangible pieces that are small enough that are a work package. Then plan each different piece out. How do you plan to execute? How much time will it take you? Then execute with just around right amount of energy. How much do you need? How much focus do you need to do so perfectly? And then revise. Revise while doing and revise afterwards. What can you learn from it? So that it basically is beneficial for you whenever something similar pops up. So these 4 steps I will definitely continue to take on board both in my workouts and in different tasks at work. Of course, it's very different when the workout or when the task is much more complex. And I'm sure that we'll end up having a nice episode on that as well. But for now, for those tasks not complex, don't require much thinking and that are relatively long, these 4 steps should guide you to successfully push through. If you have enjoyed this episode today, then please like, comment, subscribe, and even share this podcast. with others who should also hear about this, other athletes or leaders alike that can learn from this.